big H's.
He's got to readjust.
It's gonna fall if I do it. I'm your boy Jay.
I'm your boy Amity.
I'm your boy Morrow.
Now I want to add, I'm getting better at knowing when to move, so I don't get chopped in the chest.
I ain't even got my hood on, so I couldn't even do that entrance right.
I'm kind of glad you're already prepared like this, because I'm like, I would have known, and I probably would have kind of chopped like he did.
Oh, bro. So, man, look. Today we're going to talk about...
I'll kick it off since I'm the AEW guy. We're going to basically... in our general opinions, the heavy hitter's opinion, on Tony Khan as a promoter overall, how he's run AEW, how he's run Ring of Honor, his pay-per-views, his partnerships with other promotions, just kind of how he's been running his company as a whole. Now, we've talked about Vince and creative and all this other stuff and WWE as a whole, but we're going into another realm. We're going into AEW.
Right. Real quick, we are doing grading and all that. Fans, I know y'all don't comment like that. Since we grading, y'all grade the rookie, grade Jason on his performance as a heavy hitter. Since we hand out grades.
I mean, I didn't say grades, I said opinions. You were the one that went straight to a grading system.
How you think, what would you grade the newest member of the heavy? How do you think his performance been so far?
I think Jason's been doing a good job. There's always room for improvement. We can always say that. But Jason has brought a different element to the show, for sure. Like, you know, I'm not into AEW at all. I think that insults my intelligence. I feel like it's...
Who is that laughing?
Come on, bro.
Look, I just want to say one thing about you being on here. Professionalism.
Yeah, you
the sound. It's like kiddie new edition to grown man new edition. It's a different sound, you know, like from...
So you saying he Johnny Gill?
I mean, I'm just saying, like...
Do you know who Johnny Gill is, Jason?
No, we're not getting into it.
I'm just saying, like, from the past...
I was going to run it kind of as like a Michael Cole thing.
Like, yeah, but the only thing is, you do have an extensive, you know, you talk...
A lot.
More than, no, I didn't say that.
I said it.
We talk a lot. It's a podcast. We supposed to talk a lot. But...
I'm like...
You tell me you shut the hell up.
I'm like Michael Cole where I'm just talking a little too much.
No, nobody say, but you don't shut the hell up.
No, yeah, it's like
no, I'm
you know,
playing.
you gotta know when to cut it.
He tell you shut up.
It's just a
Well, the nice way I'm gonna handle this is
why he keep putting words on my mouth, bro? Like, no, fam. Before we start this video about AEW, I'm not saying because I talk a lot too on here, and we all do, but
we're passionate. That's what it is. And for me, this is the same thing I've told my girl. If I'm passionate about something, I can and probably will talk your ear off about it.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm getting at, like, just, we know when to cut it. So it's like when it's time to cut, you just gotta have that instinct, like, oh yeah, we running too long. We gotta end it, you know, instead of, you know, cause.
Wait, one more thing.
You know,
okay,
that's your thing.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I have this problem at home because literally me and my mom could be talking or on the phone or whatnot, and I'll literally come out and be like, "Oh yeah, just one more thing."
And and
you see how we just talked 4 minutes about. We didn't even speak about the video yet. It's 4 minutes in, so that's just showing like, it's just knowing when to, you know.
Long story short, I'm not bad. I just need to learn.
Nah,
As he said to shut the hell up.
I'm just talking.
He just on that, but you know, we all talk though. We gonna get paid to talk. Right. That's how we do. But nonetheless, that title is heavy.
Why do you think I just like lay it on my legs?
Nonetheless, we gonna talk about Tony Khan, man. AEW, his performance as a booker or
promoter, all that,
or him just running his own company, him buying Ring of Honor and not, you know, all type of different topics.
So AEW is the first American wrestling, you know, non-WWE show since WCW. So it went 18 WCW out of business in 01. AEW came into formation in 2019.
October 2019.
So 18 years in between. I mean, you had TNA. TNA was probably like the closest thing after WCW to I wouldn't say dethrone, but to do something before they went out. So,
for me, I just want to bring up a little background just real quick to kind of get those up to speed with AEW as a whole. Basically, it is run by the Khan family. Now, any sports-like people outside of wrestling know that the Khan family does own the Jacksonville Jaguars. They do own an NFL team. So they already have that going for themselves. A little other history behind that. It was basically Omega, the Bucks, and Cody,
the
Elite, basically wanted to prove to, if I'm not mistaken, your man Jim Cornette that they could sell out 10,000 seats.
Yeah, that was that All In show.
So they did produce All In. And a lot of people genuinely enjoyed the show. They thought it was pretty well done. And one of the people that watched and was in attendance was Tony Khan, who is an avid wrestling fan, which we will get into why that affects him as a promoter later in the video. But let's get straight. To start promotion, you need the bread. Now, don't get me wrong, the Elite, they do make good money, but they need that extra background. They need that business perspective.
They ain't have enough money to start a whole company like that, you need that.
For sure.
So, Tony Khan was genuinely invested. He's like, I believe in what you guys are doing, because the Elite said they want to change the world, and they're trying to do that with AEW. So Tony Khan says, look, I believe in your idea. I support your idea. I will help invest the money to start AEW, and which they did in October of 2019 after they did Double or Nothing. After Double or Nothing, AEW was officially televised on TNT, ran that for a little while, and because of conflictions with other sports, mainly basketball, they moved to TBS, where they are today.
Because basketball on TNT on Tuesday. That's right. Yeah. Wednesday.
Now they moved Dynamite to TBS, but they still kept Rampage on TNT because they don't usually do basketball games Friday.
It's not. Yeah, basketball come on ESPN on Friday. I'm a junkie, so.
So, Rampage stays on TNT on Fridays. Dynamite is on TBS on Wednesdays because obviously basketball is held on TNT on Wednesdays. So that's just a little genuine background. Now we're gonna get into opinions. So you want to start off?
I think AEW initially, contrary to belief, I believed AEW had some. Bro, didn't I say bro was there? I feel like AEW could have did some stuff. You can vouch.
Yeah, I mean,
I think me and you did have a conversation at the start where I think you genuinely were like, I'm interested to see where this is going. I actually believe I remember to actually vouch for you myself. I know he can too, but to actually vouch for myself, you did at the start genuinely give them a chance.
Because I'm like, okay, WWE, like if I don't feel like watching wrestling, WWE is the only thing on. Like there was TNA, but TNA was like super dead in the water. Like after
they over there twerking over there now.
Yeah, I think I started watching TNA when it was like who was the EC3 when he won the title when he beat Kurt Angle. I think I fell off around that point.
Was this before Global Force and all that stuff?
Yeah, it was still TNA. I remember when TNA was Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe,
Austin Aries,
that's peak TNA.
Yeah, all that stuff, and it was good. And they never gave Raw a run for their money, but they did try to compete with Raw for a little minute, failed miserably. So I'm like, okay, cool, a dude with a lot of money, putting up. I didn't really know too much about the Bucks and them. I've heard of them. I'm a wrestling fan, so I know of the Elite. I knew about Cody Rhodes. I knew about all these people to an extent. So I'm not gonna lie. The first couple weeks of AEW, I was invested. Cody Rhodes was in the feud with MJF, all this type of stuff. I was invested.
John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, for those who remember.
Yeah, I was invested.
Debuted.
But then I kept watching, and the storylines were just putrid to me. Like I'm not gonna lie to you though. I was like, so the storylines were putrid.
Well, what did you think of the Inner Circle when they made that whole thing?
I liked it though.
I believe that was either the first or second episode in that they did that.
Yeah, I liked the Inner Circle because of this, right? I knew Jericho. and I knew Swagger. What was his name over there?
Jake Hager.
Jake Hager. I knew him. Jake Hager was a great wrestler with no personality. He's like Kurt Angle, like a great value Kurt Angle. So I was like,
To quote a famous wrestler in WWE, was it kind of like watching paint dry with him as a character?
Yeah, like he won the world title and was just like, I'm the world champion. It was nothing.
No emotion.
So then I knew about Santana and Ortiz. So I'm like, okay, I knew about some of these dudes. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, okay, we go on. I'm invested. Cody Rhodes was doing his thing in the beginning, like, but then you go on, and the stories were just getting weaker and weaker. And y'all, I know the type of matches and the type of style that I like of wrestling. So I'm like, this isn't it for me. Like,
When you say AEW's matches at the start, not now, but at the start, were they genuinely, I won't say like captivating matches, but they were kind of matches that made you
cool.
want to watch.
They were cool. I remember, the one thing I do remember in the beginning, I think Cody had a match with like Warlow, and he did the moonsault off the cage. I remember that. And I was like, man, this is kind of interesting. The MJF whipping him for some reason. I can't remember why.
10 times to get him a title match.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. I was like, this is interesting. But then the storylines just wasn't it for me. And then they didn't have, like, the characters wasn't, the only character I was compelled to or that I was investing in was Cody. And, the in-ring work just wasn't it for me. I know what I like, so I was like, nah, this in-ring stuff ain't it for me. But initially, I was on full board. I'm like, yeah, another wrestling show? Cool. Like, yeah, let's see where this goes. And then I saw monkey turds. So I was like, yeah, I'm out.
What?
I saw monkey turds.
For those that probably don't understand what you mean by that, can you please explain?
I'm gonna use one of your things because we can't say this on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dog shit. That's what I saw on there.
What about it?
The wrestling, it sucks.
Well, what about the wrestling? Because that's the kind of thing I want.
It's all right. So let me say this: it looks fake. It looks scripted. There's dudes. It looks choreographed. I saw the one match. It wasn't that long ago. What's the dudes that wear the cargo pants? They was fighting the Elite. They're like some black dudes. They were wearing cargo pants.
Private Party?
No. Anyway, it was like a bunch of like I felt like I was watching like some breakdancing or something. Like, I don't know what I was watching. It wasn't wrestling though. It was just a bunch of dudes doing spots, super kicks, all this stuff. I'm like, it's just go, spot. I'm like, what the? Where do you sell? Where do you let stuff breathe? Like, you see what I'm saying? There's no psychology. So I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. The wrestling sucks.
And I'm kind of doing it in an interview standpoint towards you, but what also for you? What
I feel like a star now, though. No, keep coming with the questions.
What about their promos?
The promos are cool. Certain people can do great promos. I think MJF is a good promo, but his stuff is more like pop type stuff. Like he gets like Roman Reigns can cut like I just believe he's a dirtbag. He's a manipulator. MJF says stuff that's like.
You're making yourself believe more through his promos that he's like a genuine heel in the business by how he holds himself.
Yeah, he's a real heel. MJF is more of a cheap heat type guy. I don't like cheap heat. Like when you say people aren't heel or whatever, like nah, I don't. That's cheap heat. Like I want to boo you because you're so good at your job. Like I want you to be the dude that I love to hate. I don't want you to be the dude that you're trying to get me to hate you because you're saying certain things I know aren't good. You know. So like another good heel would be like Austin Theory got a punchable face. I feel like he cool as a heel.
Like, you gotta disrespect him now.
That's a good thing though. That's a good thing. He's a solid heel.
I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping through this spree of recordings that he wasn't gonna get brought up. Not MJF, mainly Austin Theory.
Oh, that's his man's though. I don't know what you doing. He cool.
I have nothing against Theory. It's just it was like one of those things where it's like.
He remind me of the young Randy Orton, but go ahead.
It's not even that. Like, his star power and all that is good. Promos, in my opinion, I feel like could use some work. But my whole thing, the only reason why I don't like hearing it through other videos is it was like, I'm going to call it the Juventud situation.
That's a joke, though. That's not...
But it's like it gets continually brought up.
Yeah, I mean, but...
Theory always gets brought up.
But no, but that's his job.
Because this is the thing, though. When you... Look, I get what you said, but look. The Juventud situation, that's not even.
No, I'm not talking about like him even bringing up. I'm just saying it getting brought up continually in videos. Like,
because
that's his guy though.
When you it's like when you a star, you get talked about a lot, right?
Yeah.
Theory is a star, so
I'll bring up Gunther every
no
chance
matter
I
what,
get.
no matter what video we do, Theory gonna get talked about because he a superstar, man.
Like
He
Gunther,
United States champion.
There may be in another video we'll do our theory of Austin Theory.
I mean, we don't gotta dedicate
or our opinion or something.
I don't want to dedicate a full video to him. Bro.
Can we dedicate a full?
I just bring him up.
Can we dedicate a full video to Gunther? They ain't kind of out.
I mean,
no, I'm just
it'll
playing.
probably come one day.
But like, let's.
We can just dedicate a video to young come up and coming talent.
But no, I think AEW was just. I feel like they just haven't like proved they were supposed to be they were supposed to be more sports based. That did not happen at all. It's nothing sports based. They just keep holding records. But then they say F the records and have number one contenders matches. So I'm like, okay, like, all right.
I thought AEW personally in the beginning was decent. I liked the fact that Hangman Page was one of their own, getting a push. He became world champion. One of my favorite matches from AEW, Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, brutal battle when Kenny went through the table, when he put him through that glass table.
Didn't he also have a barbed wire broom at one point?
Yeah, I don't like that match was vicious. I love brutal, bloody matches like. I just like if a match gonna be physical, it's gotta be brutal and bloody. So, but it's like in the beginning, like y'all say, in the beginning it was cool because you was trying to see like what they gonna do. It was a interest there because you wanted to see. It's like me personally, I don't watch enough AEW to really be like I enjoy it, but there's some people down there that I see that I like, And I feel like AEW can keep pushing. They've been going for like 4 years, so they still in business. Me personally, Tony Khan not a good booker. He's not, he's not on that level. He shouldn't be in that position because that as a wrestling mind, you got to know how to book wrestlers. Not just, oh yeah, I love wrestling, I'm a fan. That's like me saying I can book a Kenny Omega match because I'm a fan of wrestling. Like, no, like I can't do that.
So
I can't do it.
You can't just do certain stuff because this stuff ain't easy. This stuff ain't easy. Like, Tony Khan should have put Jim Ross was there. Why wasn't Jim Ross booking? Arn Anderson was there. People who have real wrestling knowledge, like who've been doing this for years. If you trust that much in Kenny Omega and them, but they had people telling them what to do, how to do stuff, and all that in New Japan and Ring of Honor. But you have people like Arn Anderson. You have people like you got OGs there, who probably I'm pretty sure Arn Anderson did some stuff with WWE where he put some matches together or something. I don't trust in Tony Khan to like keep me invested into a 2-hour show every week. I don't believe in that.
So for me, and this is where the genuine opinion for me is going to come in with AEW as well. Now, believe it or not, it's actually not all going to be positive. That's the shocking part. Like these guys said, and it's basically just all three of us generally agreeing at the start. At the start, it was a lot of good, genuine matches. They were bringing in guys that could put on those kind of matches. I mean, we look at the match with Cody and Dustin, that bloodied match that they had. Hell, even the storytelling before that with Cody, taking the sledgehammer and hand the throne and it breaking, like we all knew what that was symbolizing. Like the match you said as well with Moxley and Omega, him getting suplexed right through the table, a glass table, no doubt.
That spot was great. Don't forget about the late great Brody Lee and Cody Rhodes, the TNT title they had.
Dog collar match.
Now one match I did like and I was investing to was the natural Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. That match went crazy.
Yeah, that's the one you was just saying.
Yeah,
right?
That match was tough. That had a lot of great story. I almost teared up watching that.
Now, before I go any further, I do want to comment on that as well. I did like the face paint as a Star Wars fan. It kind of brought the Darth Maul kind of vibe because he had the red and black with the half face paint.
Oh, okay, I get that.
That's what it looked like. I was like, this is something we don't see because we're usually used to the black and gold, like that kind of stuff happening. So for him to kind of push away from his Goldust gimmick, and you know Cody coming in. Well, he was already making his own way in New Japan and Ring of Honor, but like having his own way in AEW, especially with his brother, and the emotion that went into it, and all that kind of stuff. Like it was genuine emotion because AEW when they first started said, "Look, we want to bring real wrestling back. We want to bring that like hardcore wrestling that like you mentioned, like that WCW kind of vibes and ECW kind of vibes with these bloody extreme matches." And at the start, they were doing a genuine good job. And a lot of the pay-per-views they had, you're seeing these guys that did come in from WWE, and you were genuinely shocked. Like, wow, they're hopping over. You're seeing them come over. And they do a good job as they come over. But now here's where the bad part comes in, and MJF basically nailed this on the head. They bring in former WWE guys and then immediately start pushing them. Not the talent that they've had already, but the talent that they just got in that was from WWE. And they just start pushing and pushing and pushing. Like, don't get me wrong, like, these are the guys that are coming from WWE genuinely deserve to, you know, grab the brass ring and hold it and get a title run. But let the guys that are literally at the forefront of your company, like you said, Hangman Page.
I heard Wardlow is decent too.
Even Wardlow.
They got their own people. Darby Allin and impressive. Remind me of Jeff Hardy back in the day. Who else? Like you said, Sammy Guevara.
Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, like you don't just gotta push, oh yeah, CM Punk away from the wrestling business. 7 years he come back, he AEW champion. Like, they just do that because them wrestlers got a name, man. People know them. Casual fans know CM Punk.
And I understand that, and I get from a business standpoint why you're doing it, but as a fan standpoint, I mean, I know Tony Khan is an avid wrestling fan, and he tries to do his best, but it comes into one of those where it's like, there's a point where you have to split being a promoter and being a fan.
Yeah, it's different.
Because you're booking, in a sense, what you want to see.
Exactly. Like,
what you think
the fan perspective.
What you think the fans are going to want to see.
Exactly.
I won't sit here and say it's like one of those Vince things where Vince wants to see this, but the fans want to see something else. But it kind of is because, like, as a fan for Tony Khan, he wants to see this, but not all the fans want to see that in response.
I guess that's the perfect way to put it. Like, Vince is one of the ones that's like, if the fans want to see something, Vince would give it to you, but Vince would do what he feel like is going to make the most money for his, what's going to entertain the people, for his brand, for his company. Like you said, Tony Khan, he looking at it and he like, oh yeah, I like this and that. But you don't book off of how you think, from how you feel about it. Like, you a fan, you a wrestler. That's like us booking something. Like, we not bookers, bro. We don't know. We can't book no wrestling show, like no wrestling company every week like that.
Like the ironic thing for me is this, and this is funny to say this, is like I'm gonna tap into Omega real quick. He runs the women's division. Now tell me this. In AEW's women division, any of the superstars or wrestlers that they have, any of them that have been champion, none of them have genuinely been people from WWE. It's been like Thunder Rosa. Toni Storm did get a title.
Was it Hikaru Shida, right? Did she win it?
Hikaru Shida was the first.
Yeah.
Britt Baker.
You had Thunder Rosa. You had Toni Storm, who was from WWE, but that was literally later on. Yeah. And then especially even now, Jamie Hayter, a person who genuinely deserves to have the title. Yeah. So Omega, granted, some people might not like his wrestling ability or his wrestling past, but one thing I will give him is he knows, okay, we're not gonna push all these WWE women that are coming in. I mean, don't get me wrong, Soraya's getting a great, reaction.
Cody. Soraya.
Stop that, bro. We leaving that on the old channel.
Or even with the TBS title, Jade Cargill, the one and only champion.
She looked like a star though.
Dominated.
She seemed like she got some
that,
stuff.
And that's Kenny Omega. Presenting her like that, You
He
gotta
did
give him credit.
One good thing,
everybody, like she dominant. Like I feel like
I think Omega as a booker is doing a good job.
No wrestler should be booked. You don't let the enemies run your side.
I feel like he doing decent with the women's division over there for sure. Like you say, most of the champions been homegrown AEW women, not just all WWE. Unlike the men. where you got, like I said, Punk, Jericho,
Moxley,
all these WWE guys winning a world title before the likes of an MJF, who been down there grinding since day one. You know, even though I don't believe him, I don't believe in him as a heel. But I believe he got the talent, you know. He just got to show that he could get over, like you said, without just
cheap stuff.
Well, the thing with MJF too is like people were saying he's one of the 4 pillars or one of the 4 of Mount Rushmore of AEW. The fact that it took him this long to get where he's at, it took him this long. In my opinion, he could have been maybe a couple months back the champion before they had the whole issue with him leaving and everything else.
Yeah, and it took that shoot promo for him to really get over the hump. Like, it was like a pipe bomb type situation.
He got genuine heat when he promoted AEW. Didn't know it. They cut his mic. They cut the camera to a different viewer. They cut the commercial. Like, they didn't know he was going to do this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like people kind of forget about that because, you know, a little bit the same night MJF came back, that was all that stuff with the Elite and CM Punk. So it overshadowed MJF coming back.
They said I think they said in a sense one of the reasons why Punk reacted the way he did was kind of the Colt Cabana stuff in the background, but it was MJF coming back and immediately getting thrown back into the title feud because Punk had already went and done that with him. Now they're running it back, and that's kind of the other thing with AEW is like I get you want to do storytelling, and I get you want to produce these matches, but when you're reusing certain things you used in other feuds, like when you mentioned, I believe it was off camera, the thing with Cody, getting whipped with the belt to 10 lashings. They did that with Wardlow later on. They just reused what he used the first time. Now, the first time, yeah, you're getting that genuine, like, cheap heat, that heel reaction, but then to go back in and do it again, even though you did it, like, I know you want to go with the moniker of don't fix what isn't broken, but at the same time, you don't want to reuse, like reduce, reuse, recycle your ideas that you used previously.
You kind of, and I will give WWE props on this with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, he's kept me invested because they've been adding different layers to his story.
It's not the same thing over and over again.
It's not. It's like, all right, boom, Jay won't fall in line. Now Jimmy will fall in line. Now we bring in Sammy. Solo's here now. All these things are going on. You want to add different layers. If you're going to go with a story and you want to keep going with the same story, you need to add different layers to it so it can stay,
consistent.
Keep you invested.
Right. It has to evolve. It can't just be... If Roman Reigns was just to have Jey Uso this whole time, and it'd be like, all right, dude, like it's just you and Jey Uso, but now it's these different layers. You got the Fat Boy, Paul Heyman with him, and all that type of stuff.
You're adding depth.
Yeah,
into the storyline.
You want to keep you invested. Like, are Kenny Omega and the Bucks? Are they still the same characters they were 4 years ago?
No.
Okay, so you want to go with that. You cannot have everything has to evolve.
I mean, the one thing with them, and then
I didn't mean. I mean, I don't like them, but I was just asking.
No. I understand. The one thing I'm gonna say about them, and then I got one more thing as a whole, and then we're gonna cut it. Is the one thing with the Elite is, at first I took them genuinely seriously in AEW. But now when they came back from, the fallout from All Out and whatnot, having this, don't you cry no more, like this hoppy gimmick and whatnot, and then a couple weeks ago and they did the whole thing with, it was because of the All-Star game.
That's my favorite interest.
The basketball and everything.
I told you, they came out hooping.
Like,
that's my favorite interest.
Like, that's a joke for them. I remember.
If he said it's a joke,
come on, man.
No, it's a joke because these are guys that I genuinely. This was before they even got AEW. These were genuine guys I took seriously when they were in Bullet Club, when they were doing the stuff that they were doing, when they were having the matches that they were having.
They weren't booking.
They were just wrestlers, and they were doing a good job. And them being these EVPs and kind of getting to book themselves, like I don't like, and I believe MJF had said this or somebody did. They're like, I'm tired of the Elite always putting themselves in title matches. Now, when the Bucks had the tag titles and Omega had the world title, now that was genuinely good storytelling, with Doc Gallows and Anderson and all that, having them in there, having the whole like reunited Bullet Club and stuff like that, and kind of bringing the Bullet Club stuff back in the storyline. That was great, but now I can't take them seriously.
So you ain't like them hooping? Like you ain't like? Come on, man.
It ruins their credibility.
I thought I seen one do a behind the back on, bro. He dunked on. It's like it's just goofy though. It's like It's like silliness.
I want them to be serious, not goofy, and that's what irritates me with them. It's like these were guys I supported, and now it's just like, can I really support them?
You like how you talking now?
I think on the same page.
Like I'll literally sit here and say what Will Ospreay and the United Empire are doing in New Japan right now. I'm more invested in that than I am the Elite, and I'm sorry, I love the Elite.
I feel like I'm a proud dad.
You can't wear no Bullet Club hat no more. Hell, man, you disrespectful, man. That's the Elite, man.
I'm about to cry, bro.
The Elite in AEW versus the Elite in Bullet Club are completely two different things. Now, the one other thing I will say, and then we're gonna wrap it up because this video was getting kind of long.
How long is it? I ain't got my glasses.
30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
The one thing, and this was the one thing I'm surprised we didn't bring up at the start. Well, mainly that I didn't bring up at the start, is Tony Khan's handling of Ring of Honor. A lot of people genuinely thought, okay, Ring of Honor, says we're gonna regroup, we're gonna be on a hiatus, all the superstars can go and compete where they want to, and we're seeing guys, like Jay Lethal on
that boy Jay Lethal.
Hey, I saw Jay Lethal and who was it, Jeff Jarrett wrestling. I said, what the hell am I? And Billy Gunn was in there.
Like, you got people like Jay Lethal, you had Honor No More in Impact, the Briscoes in Impact, rest in peace, Jay. But it's just like, you had these guys, and then when Tony Khan's like, all right, I bought Ring of Honor, everyone's like, all right, we're going to get what we've been wanting to see.
What he buy that company? Why he buy that company?
He just got bread.
Because he was invested in Ring of Honor as well. Like, not invested like money wise, but he was invested as a fan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He do stuff based off of him being a fan.
He wanted to bring that back. He wanted to bring back I'm going to get Ring of Honor and we're going to go back and do what they did. But they haven't done anything. People have been clamoring for a television deal. Nothing has been set in stone yet.
I'm a fan of WWE. Let me go buy NXT.
They're doing these here and there ROH pay-per-views that sometimes have no rhythm. You're doing ROH title matches on AEW television, so you're not even using...
How many titles they got over there?
They got the television title, they got the world title, the women's title, and the tag titles, and the trios titles.
The world's trios title.
I like the trios titles.
For some reason, I like the trios titles. I think 6-man titles is cool.
Now, Tony Khan also did say the other reason why he bought it is he wanted to be able to give more of his wrestlers general exposure, like so they can get shown as well. I mean, they've been getting shown in their AEW Dark, Elevation, stuff like that. But then that goes back into it's great to have like a lot of talent, but when you're not using 3/4 of your talent over other people, like when was the last time, like I'll use the women's direction. When was the last time we've seen like Akira Hogan or Red Velvet?
Akira Hogan, my short.
Hey, I rocks with her.
I love
They need to have her.
I want to see her in the title.
They need to have her running on
AEW. She left Impact. I thought she was going to go to AEW and go crazy.
Hey, she needs to be, what show she on?
She's on AEW.
Alright, they need to have a whole 2 hours dedicated to her. I'll rock with it.
They 2 hours?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they built her up in the TBS title picture, obviously because of Jade, because they have the history. But she could be one of those genuine people to challenge for the AEW women's title, and I'd like to see that, because I already feel like going into this triple threat match at Revolution, with it being, Saraya, Jamie Hayter, and Ruby Soho, one of the former WWE people I already know I feel like is going to walk out. It's either going to be Saraya or it's going to be Ruby. Jamie Hayter, I feel like is not going to walk out. As much as I want Jamie Hayter to walk out.
I got the goal walking out with the title.
Come on, bro, stop this.
I want Jamie Hayter to go out, but knowing
you're not peeping.
Do you agree with me that Saraya is one of the greats in the women's division of all time, like in this generation?
In this current generation, I could sit here and say, in a way, but I can't sit here and say overall.
He's not talking about her wrestling, though.
Bro. Alright, man.
We all have our different points of that, but the main thing is Ring of Honor. He hasn't done really anything with it, invested any time into it, and he buys it to promote most of his other wrestlers. But then even then, you still have former WWE guys getting pushed over. Like, use your homegrown talent, not these former WWE guys. I mean, you can have them here and there, but don't have them flood the show, because it's like I'm just watching a regurgitated version of WWE then at that point.
Yeah.
Because you're having all these guys that like Christian Cage, Claudio, Jericho.
Wait, does Christian Cage wrestle?
Yeah, he's back.
Does he wrestle though?
Yes.
Last time I seen him, he was cutting a promo.
He's wrestling at Revolution against Jungle Boy and this is where they're bringing back old WWE matches. They're having a buried alive match.
One more
or
match for Christian, man.
Or as they're calling it, the final burial to avoid calling it buried alive.
Yeah. So that's our opinions on AEW. We ran the course. Make sure y'all give us y'all opinions in the comment section, man, about AEW. Like the video, subscribe. Let us know, man. Do y'all think Tony Khan is a stupid idiot for buying Ring of Honor? Let us know.
He's just a stupid idiot for starting a wrestling company.
It's like one of those, like, it's like what I said. You have to separate being a fan and a promoter. You got to separate that. You can't have both, because then you're gonna book stuff you want to see and the fans that might want to see. So you got to keep that.
When we done, I'm gonna just go and purchase NXT.
You should do that, gang. Hey, let me book, and then fire me, and then you start booking.
Why would I fire you though? If I'm gonna let you?
Cause I'm gonna just be booking stuff just cause I'm a fan of wrestling.
Look, only way I'm gonna fire you if you book Carmelo Hayes into oblivion, then I'm gonna fire you.
Just let me be your rep, because I just want to see all this unfold. I want to see the booking unfold in front of my eyes. I want to have those like Charles Robinson.
Or let me commentate, gang, so I can say people.
Take Booker T spot. Yes,
you just got smacked, clapped the hell out.
But man, I'm your boy Morrow, man. That's it we got today.
I'm your boy Amity.
The pod, AJ, and we out.